Today I am 29 and I couldn't think of anything better to do on my 29th birthday, my last year of being in my 20s, than exposing the likes of more hypocritical liars and bad faith actors such as Tucker Carlson. You know, something that's very interesting at the moment. I don't know if you guys have noticed it because I certainly have, and many people that I follow over on X, those that have a brain, have definitely noticed it. And one person in particular, I like following a lot of the stuff that he has to say because, well, he creates these brilliant compilations, and it's Nathan Livingston and Milk Bar TV. So again, thank you, Nathan, for all your hard work in these sorts of things, and keep exposing the likes of Tucker, and I'll keep sharing it out far and wide over on YouTube. So Tucker has a very interesting way of, well, if you want to call it interesting, you're most certainly welcome to call it interesting, because I think it is. Interesting way of sharing things that he thinks is actually the truth. It's not the truth, and we all know it's not the truth, especially when you put it side by side with actual facts. Now, seemingly over Tucker's career, Tucker has been flip-flopping around or sharing his views on certain things, and we've noticed over a period of time his views have changed, being one of anti-Semitism or actually hating Israel, to before calling people that were once considered good, now they're bad. Tucker won't even bother debating the likes of Ben Shapiro because Ben would wipe the floor with him. He knows that, and Tucker himself says that he doesn't know anything. So why in the world do people listen to him in the first place if he claims he doesn't know anything? That's another worrisome thing. And he's changed his mind on Islam. He's changed his mind on COVID. He's changed his mind on pretty much every single subject imaginable that he's spoken about before. He's changed his mind on Trump many, many times, going from he hates Trump to, well, saying that Trump he didn't apologize to Trump, apparently, according to Tucker. He's lied about that. So one thing that I found really interesting is his viewpoint initially on Douglas Murray. So initially on Tucker's show, he praised Douglas Murray, being a very smart person. But then he goes, Douglas is not an expert. Have a watch of the compilation that Nathan Livingston put together.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Tucker Carlson Today. We had a broad range of possibilities for the first person to talk to as we begin this new show, this new series. But really, in the end, there was only one choice. The one person we know who has crystal clarity on what's happening, not just in this country, but in the world, someone who's watched it and chronicled it for years now. His name is Douglas Murray.
I know Douglas, and I think that I've always gotten along with him, and I think that he's clever, but he's hardly an expert on anything. Well, so right. Like, what?
I don't think Trump would be a good president. I think he'd probably cancel the next election if he got elected, you know.
It happened because we didn't understand the country we preside over. And by we, not just the political class in D.C., but anybody with authority or money in the United States.
Referring to Trump, Carlson says, I hate him passionately. I can't handle much more of this.
We are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait, Carlson texted.
That Trump is, in his words, a demonic force, a destroyer, but he's not going to destroy us.
It's such an honor to be here, and it's wild. Just another day following Bobby Kennedy Jr. at a Donald Trump rally in Madison Square Garden. I mean, what?
America's supporting Israel because it's an ally.
I don't even know what those words mean. I'm just saying my principle
they're an ally, right? I mean, they both...
I don't know what that means to be an ally.
Qatar is like one of our closest allies in the world. The largest American air base in the Middle East is in Qatar. They're a close ally of ours.
The Chinese coronavirus is a major event. It will affect your life. And by the way, it's definitely not just the flu.
Was it 2012, 2013, I read up, more people died of the flu that year than COVID people?
Yeah. Would you know anyone who died of COVID?
Did people really die of COVID?
I don't know. I never knew anyone who did.
Nuclear technology. They've only been used once. If you
end up killing, incinerating tens of thousands of civilians, that's just a bad thing. Let's just be honest, that's just a bad thing. And I just don't understand why you're not calling for the use of nuclear weapons against the Ayatollah right now. I'm serious. If you really believe they're trying to murder
the use of nuclear weapons,
whatever
that's part of the problem.
So you're a 15 or 16, 17-year-old boy. You are driven by biology to procreate.
Yes.
So you're either going to be inflicting your attentions on one of your peers who is, let's be honest, not ready for it. She's going to get hurt emotionally. Or you can have a safer, albeit technically illegal, outlet with a woman who knows what she's doing. You're not going to hurt her. You know what I mean? Like, this is harm reduction.
Now admitting that Emmanuel Macron was only 14 when they met, when he was in that play. 15, she says, whenever this affair happened. And
I'll just go with 15 and say that's wrong.
Yeah.
Isn't that child molestation?
Theme, it's the larger point that Buchanan is making, that perhaps American involvement in World War II was a mistake, that people are upset about, and that I think you can take him to task over, because I think it's a wrong and in some ways an odious point.
I think the story we got about World War II is all wrong. I think that's right.
And you could hardly say that this country won that war. In what meaningful sense?
The summer after my freshman year, my roommate and I decided to go down to Nicaragua for the summer and work and, get involved in the war.
I think anybody, by the way, who serves in a foreign military should lose his citizenship immediately.
Sharia is intolerant. Women have, in the Quran, fewer rights than men do. I think that in every Muslim majority country in the world, non-Muslims are treated, have fewer rights.
Sharia law is bad, Seth. I don't know if you've heard that. It's bad. It's worse than what's happening in New York and Detroit. It's just bad.
Yeah, so the initial bit, there's only one person we could think of to have on this show. Crystal clear, right? Douglas Murray. And then not long after his Fox career fell apart, it's, well, Douglas Murray is not an expert on anything. Douglas Murray is an expert on many things, especially when it comes to the likes of Israel, something that you can't say that you are an actual expert on. You're like Dave Smith, like talking out of your backside, but you don't know anything at all. That is becoming abundantly clear. See, these people love to talk. Don't know if you guys have noticed that. That's all they're good at, talking a lot of nonsense. None of it, in fact, a lot of it is not the truth. And you just have to play it back like Nathan Livingston did. You saw his thoughts on Trump. Can't stand Trump, hates Trump passionately, apparently. So when asked his thoughts on Trump, he's always changing. Now, maybe it's the thing to do when you are a newsreader or whatever else. Like, maybe it's the thing that Tucker's most good at, being one of those provocateurs, says something that he himself doesn't fully understand, and then he'll just backtrack and people will just go, oh, he didn't say it. Okay, I'll forget about it, move on. I think he's going off of the fact that people have a very short attention span and don't actually remember everything. I think that's what he's going off about. And like, I made a video that one moment in the compilation you saw about America's allies. So to Piers Morgan, he doesn't even know what an ally is when you mention America is Israel's ally. I don't know what that means, but I understand it when it's Qatar. Oh, when it's an Islamic country that funds terrorism, yeah, I totally understand what an ally is there. When it's beneficial to me, when they're giving me a great deal of money, it's definitely in my favor. See, these people, over a period of time, especially after October 7th, they just keep going like this. Crash and burn, we call it. That's the point of Israeli derangement syndrome, Trump derangement syndrome. Seems like Tucker's got all of them, all the derangement syndromes. And he's been possessed by a demon, by his very own words. So you can't trust people that are constantly flipping from one end to the other. I've said it a number of times and I'll continuously say it. Be consistent. See, Douglas has been very, very consistent. I want to show you this video because it's very, very important. Now, this is why I think Douglas is one of the smartest people we have around, especially talking about the issue in Gaza at the moment. And it's why Dave Smith doesn't stand a chance with Douglas Murray. It's how he sees issues. Now, this one moment that Douglas speaks about a real enemy, you can't have them around. And there's some wars where you just got to get rid of them because there's no changing them. Have a watch of this.
There are some things you have to fight. There are some enemies you have to defeat because you cannot live with them, because they would ensure you do not live. I think in the rest of the West has become so divorced from reality, including the reality of evil. It likes to say, well, let's make a compromise or learn to live together before you've achieved that strategic goal of killing the people who would kill you. And it's not the case that all conflicts should end in a draw. The Israeli Air Force, and indeed in the end the American Air Force, decided to strike to ensure that the Iranian revolutionary government does not have possession of the world's most dangerous weapon. Just look at the way in which people said, let's de-escalate. I said in my column in the New York Post at the time, I said, no, actually this is a moment for intense and successful escalation in order to stop this.
And worse, Israel fights wars like we used to. We didn't say we want to defeat the Nazis and win their hearts and minds. No, we said we will defeat the Nazis.
Doesn't all conflict end around the negotiating table? To which I've said for a long time, no, actually. Most conflicts historically end by one side winning and one side losing.
World War II, we said we must defeat the Nazis. We must get rid of this heinous and evil ideology. Same thing for the Palestinian Hamas issue. So on one hand, you have the Palestinian people that have voted in Hamas. They have been controlled by Hamas for a very long time. Understanding Hamas as an enemy, right? You cannot live side by side with an ideology that wants you gone. It's in their very charter. And the people that have been bombarded by not only Hamas, but Israel as well, what do you think they're going to do when Israel goes, okay, we're going to let you live with us side by side? Unless you have Israel in some ways managing the Gaza city or just Gaza as a whole and the people, governing the people too, you're going to have a lot of unrest. The Palestinian people are Islamic. It's hard to live side by side with a Islamic group of people that have been through war and hell. It's the same thing with the Germans, right? The Nazis. You can't, it's so difficult to live side by side with an evil ideology that doesn't want you to exist. So what do? Sometimes you just got to defeat the enemy. You got to defeat evil. And sure, it's hard to do. Didn't make World War II easy. You had lots of people that are going, oh, it's so wrong. Of course, it's like, but the alternative is a lot worse. You got to weigh up your options. And the thing is, Trump weighed up his options with Iran. So did Bibi Netanyahu. They wasted no time. And when you have Iran wanting a nuclear weapon, you stop them. If people tell you death to America, death to Israel, you better damn well believe them. They cannot have a nuclear bomb. Okay. Don't let him get it. Which America and Israel didn't allow them to get it. But Tucker, Candace, the whole lot of them were criticizing America. And they were just going, we can't get involved. We can't be using our tax dollars. It's not right. We can't be fighting Israel's war. It's not Israel's war. Israel is fighting a war, but it's also for you, to keep you guys safe. Like, I don't think you realize that. Because the real enemy is not Israel. The real enemy is Islam. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.